Okay, tell us how we want rent control. First of all, thanks everyone for coming today. Thank you for inviting me to be here. My name is John Silva. I work for an organization in Central California, Central Coastal California, called Protect Salinas Renters. I volunteer for that organization. I want to give a little two-sentence history first. Salinas is the county seat of Monterey County, and it's got a long history of low wages and little housing. They needed a lot of space to grow all those row crops. If you could think back to, for some of us in the room, we remember the movie The Grapes of Wrath and the Henry Fonda character. That's how this all started. They lived in labor camps, and Salinas eventually became a community, East Salinas in particular, El Barrio became a community of labor camps. Along the way, in 1985, because of the poor housing opportunities for the farm workers, a friend of mine in 1985, working for the California Rural Legal Assistance, litigated to get farm workers who were being housed in riverbeds, in creeks, in Monterey County, and they call it the caves case, because some of these farm workers were living in caves. So, a step above that is the labor camps. East Salinas became part of Salinas City, and the labor camp idea continued. So basically, people living in dormitories, and East Salinas grew above that. There has always been a history of activism. Okay, before I talk about community empowerment, I have to give a shout out to my sister Luana, who said, what did all those people working in the fields fight for? She said, what did? I would say that's still happening now in my county. What are all those people working in the fields fighting for? So much of the community empowerment done before this century was done by well-meaning outsiders who came into East Salinas and taught people how to speak English out of mobile vans. So they were well-intentioned, but didn't have any funding. In 2005, that changed. The California Endowment, which is a big philanthropic organization, donated millions of dollars to East Salinas to develop a resident voice amongst the people in East Salinas. Once again, used to be labor camps before, now apartment complexes moving in, single-family residences with a lot of rentals. So that was a big moment in empowerment history in Salinas, because there was a lot of money and the focus was completely different. The focus was on bringing people up, bringing Latino men, Latinas up, Spanish-speaking folks up to fight for themselves. I was lucky to participate and benefit from some of those programs. It worked well. Local people started getting elected to school boards. That is, the BHC, Building Healthy Communities Investment, worked well. Local people, young people, started getting elected to school boards, hospital boards. A couple of people got elected to the city council. And by 2022, Salinas had a largely Hispanic, under 40 city council, with one candidate, one city council member going to college at UC Santa Cruz during the day and serving the city once he got out of class. This young man grew up in inclusionary housing in one of the developments in Salinas. So people learned empowerment with new methods and new skills and new funding, and they were hitting the right people. So when that council came in, that city council came in 2022, within a few years, within 2 years, we had the people spoke up. The people were surveyed, and they would bring their surveys to city council, and it was clear that they wanted tenant improvements and stabilized rental communities. So in 2024, 4 ordinances were passed. Rental registry, rent stabilization capped at 2.75%, just cause eviction, and the fourth one was anti-tenant harassment. The landlords could harass and retaliate without a financial penalty to organizers. So everything was hunky-dory in September of 24. We were happy. We knew these were going to take place in January. And then there was an election in November of 2024. And you know what happened? Big ag money and big property money changed our city council. 4 city council members were elected out, and they were replaced by pro-ag, pro-property management stooges. So January 1st, our 4 tenant protections went into effect, and in February of 2025, last year, the city council repealed all 4 of them.
That ain't right.
They didn't think it was so senseless, it was mean, they didn't even think one of the 4 was worthwhile. It was rude. So the story gets better here. We didn't take it. We were all charged up as a community. We didn't take it lying down. And we said, well, what do we do next? And someone in the group said, well, you know, California's a referendum state. We don't have to accept that. So we were told that if we got 10,000 votes, we could repeal what the city council did. And sure enough, we did that. The same momentum continued. In a 30-day period, within 5 months of Donald Trump taking office and ICE gearing up, we went door to door and got people to sign a petition to keep these 4 ordinances. It was a tremendous success. We did well with it. We were happy. They're still in place to this day. We still have these benefits until November election day. We're going to win them on election day, then we're going to change the city constitution. Okay, interesting side note, we achieved this in July. By September, we were getting notices from the DA's office. They were investigating our petition signatures. They were going door to door to petition signers, and to think about how they even got those lists is very sad. And they were showing up as sworn officers of the DA office, and what that means is they were showing up with badges and concealed weapons and saying, did anybody entice you to sign this petition? And of course no one had. It was really offensive, it was pure intimidation, and we were mad, we spoke up, but it was resolved within less than a month. There was nothing there. We did nothing wrong. That's where we are now. Now we have a November 3rd, 2026 ballot measure, vote to protect Salinas measures. I'm hearing all the precautions from everyone that this isn't going to be the end of the battle. When we win, it's probably going to be the beginning of another. And that's what's happening in Central Coast, Salinas, California.
John, thank you so much.